Hi, all you St. Paul folks. So I'm here in YouTube, and I want to show you the basics of how we can make this work better for people, because I have the feeling that there's still some confusion and misunderstanding. So I'm in my school YouTube account here instead of my personal one. It doesn't matter. It's just a YouTube account. And I get to this by going to youtube.com, and I know that it's my school one because I can go up here to the icon and I can see that there's lots of different accounts. I have lots of different YouTube accounts for lots of different reasons, so I can switch between those over here if I need to. None of that really affects you, but in case you have multiple YouTube accounts, or if you have control over the St. Paul YouTube account, you want to make sure that you're using the correct account. And you can do that by going to this little icon over here at the top right. So if you're a regular parishioner and you're just trying to find the YouTube stream for church live, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. The easiest way is to just get the link from the bulletin or from the Facebook page or whatever, and you just click that link and it will take you straight to your page, straight to the stream with no problems. That is far and away the easiest way to go. But it seems like a lot of people prefer to search instead. And let me show you what happens. So if you go up here to the top and you search for St. Paul, obviously you're going to get all kinds of stuff that's mostly focused on St. Paul, the apostle, as opposed to St. Paul Church. So if you put in here St. Paul Church service, this is going to take you to lots of different St. Pauls, and none of them are us, because lots of different St. Pauls have church services. So I had suggested that we use St. Paul NA, and that will take you to our church service from this last Sunday, and that works fine. And you can get to it and play it back, and it's not a problem. Now, there is going to be a problem if we don't use the exact same naming format for all of these. This is the one that I set up for the first time, St. Paul's Episcopal Church NA hyphen the date, so 6.6.21. So obviously you don't have to do the date the exact same way. However you want to do that is fine. But the format, especially this part of it, the St. Paul's Episcopal Church NA, needs to be identical in order for the search that you all want to do to work the way you want. And ideally, we would have people type in exactly what that says, and that would take them straight to it. And that works. Oh, or maybe it doesn't. Oh, interesting. That didn't work the way I thought it should have. That made it actually harder to find. Just another reason to do what I'm going to show you. So what I would suggest that we have our parishioners do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, St. Paul. I also might suggest that we give this a better title. Instead of just being St. Paul, we might need to make this like St. Paul Episcopal Church New Albany or NA, something like that, to make the channel itself easier to find. And obviously we need to do some updating to the logo and stuff like that as well. But all that is secondary. What we should try to get our parishioners to do is to push this red subscribe button right here. If you push the subscribe button, which I just did, now my YouTube account, the one that I talked about at the beginning of the video here, is subscribed to this YouTube channel. And that subscription works the exact same way that a newspaper or magazine or some other periodical subscription would work. You get the video when it happens, and it makes it easier for you to find it. Let me show you. So I'm just going to go back out to the regular YouTube page. So now over here on the left-hand side, I have a subscription panel. And I've got other channels that are there. It doesn't matter. But one of them is St. Paul. And if I just click on that, then it takes me straight to our page where we can see the service that we've already had and the service that we're going to have. Oh, and you can see there's already an issue here because whoever made this did not give it the exact same title. This is St. Paul's Sunday service as opposed to being St. Paul's Episcopal Church NA. So even this could be an issue for people who are just trying to search using the search bar. If we can't name things exactly the same way, the searching thing is just not going to work. So even if we try to get people to subscribe, I would suggest that we need to use the exact same naming conventions. But we need to get people to subscribe, because then they don't have to do anything besides just click on St. Paul and their subscription thing, and it'll take them straight to this. This is going to be the easiest way to go. Now, the question about, well, how do we get other people to see our stuff? YouTube uses what's called an algorithm in order to suggest videos to people. And the algorithm is a mysterious thing. It has a tendency to suggest videos that are similar to videos that you've already watched. So if you watch a bunch of church services, the tendency is that you will get delivered more church services. And YouTube does that sort of automatically. And it has a tendency to go by YouTube videos that have a lot of views. So our church service from last Sunday had 73 views. Probably, if you were searching for church services, if you were a person out there who is not affiliated with the church, who is just looking for churches to attend, and if you were watching videos that had similar subscribe or viewer numbers to this, you might get suggested St. Paul's video automatically. But exactly the issue that we had with, if you go up here and you search for St. Paul's service, you're going to get suggested a huge number of other churches' services. And that's okay. That's just the way it is. If you want to attract more people to see our services, you have to have more people subscribed and more people viewing it. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. There's no way to game it. There's no way to change it. That's just how YouTube itself functions. So that is what it is. I hope this has been helpful. I feel like, in general, folks are making this a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. I would suggest strongly that we focus on just getting the videos out there for our parishioners first with good quality and looking the way we want them to, before we worry about things like, how are other people going to find them. Some of that's just going to happen naturally, and if you really want to make that a big deal, we can talk about how we can improve SEO and all these other things that, are complicated. But for right now, I would suggest we just focus on making sure the people who want to see our church service are able to see it easily, and we can worry about all the other things later. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My cell phone number is 812-449-1008. Obviously, my email address, alexsmithue@gmail.com. Don't be afraid to reach out. I want to help. I want to make sure that this is done correctly. Okay. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.